guys, and warm welcome back to the channel. My name is Grace if you're new here, and this is Rusty Thicket Studio. It's been a while since I've been on camera, so I thought I would hop on here today to kind of do a little intro about the video we're about to make. If you have been following for a while, and if you are subscribed, it's probably because of this really awesome organizer or travel kit, whatever you'd like to call it, that I have posted. It's been a couple years now actually, and I have been meaning for a long time to do an update, share a little bit more about the bag in general, and show some other variations of what I use it for, because I have a couple now, 4 to be exact, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with my last brand new one that I just bought this past weekend. And I guess I'll go ahead and do a little bit of an update. The reason I wanted to do this video now is that we are about to be traveling, and I think it's a lot less involved than when we moved to Japan, but there are some key differences in how we are traveling this time, because we will be so long without all of our household goods and things, and we learned some things from our last PCS. We decided we wanted to pack a little more up front, and we're actually going to be able to utilize our 500 additional, actually it's like 800 additional pounds that we can send ahead of the slow boat, which is where most of our household goods go. But not to bog you down with military terms and things, I just wanted to initially show the bag. This is the original one, the one that we have put together for our plein air kit for the watercolors. I have upgraded a few things, and we're going to do a top down of everything so I can lay it all out and show you all really well. But I wanted to run through the bags really quick and just let you know that we are going to do the watercolor one first because it is the priority, but I want to also show you why I have a few more and what I'm using them for, and you know, just kind of show you each one as we go through the video. So it's going to be kind of a long video, but I really want you to see how useful these bags are, and of course I'm going to leave some links down below in the description box so you all can find those. Some of them will be affiliate links, but please don't feel obligated to use those. This is going to be the second one we're going to talk about, which is the camera stuff. I really thought about just doing a camera bag, but I like things organized. I like things to, you know, lay out perfectly. I like to know exactly what I have. I don't like digging around in any kind of, you know, shoulder strap bag if I don't have to, and specifically since this is for travel, it makes a lot of sense because it can be neatly stacked with the other ones, and it is protective because there's some great cushion and stuff on it. So we're going to talk about the camera bag second. And then I think my favorite new addition is the little guy. Look how cute that is, and it's in corduroy, which is even more amazing and very much more goblincore in its own way. But this is for my planner. I did decide to go down to a 3.5 by 5.5 planner. I like the mini stuff, you guys know that, but this one was just perfect. I'll also show you all the other stuff I have in here, so stick around for that one. That'll be the third one. And then our fourth and final bag, it is brand new. I haven't even cut the tags or anything off of it yet. Sorry about my phone. And I'm going to show you at least 2 different ways I'd like to use this, and why I'm probably going to pick one over the other for this specific trip. But then I also have my new travel bag that we've got for like the top of the suitcases that you roll around. I'm going to show you how I'm going to pack that with all of these, and you know, just kind of live out my perfectly organized travel bag dreams, because I'm always looking for that perfect way to make sure everything is organized and together. Now, obviously, you don't have to do all this. I'm a little crazy. I have the time, I have the energy for it, and it's just something I enjoy doing. It's almost hobby-esque for me to see how to organize my things. But yeah, I would love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. We're gonna hop right into these bags and get started laying everything out so you guys can make up your mind if you want a new big one, Or if you think even trying a small one for little planners and things is something you're interested in, because I did have that question asked a while back. So yeah, enjoy. Okay, you guys, so we are gonna start with the OG, the original bag that I put together for the channel. I use this on the daily most of the time. I usually keep everything in here just because I like the organization of it, and obviously, you know, I can just grab it and go whenever we want to hit the park or something like that. I don't have a ton of footage of when I am painting in the park. That's usually something I'm just kind of doing for myself and not really for the business or anything, but I am hoping in our next location that will be just a little bit easier for me to do. Okay, so we're going to take everything out of here and repack it as we go, and I will explain everything that I have in here and why. And some of these will be updates and some of them will not. I have kind of moved things around a little bit, and I think, you know, just kind of, it's lived in now, so it's got some, I wouldn't even call them wears and tears, really. It's held up extremely well, but I will say that it is officially lived in and serving its purpose. Okay, so to talk a little bit about the bag, it is called Utlim or Utslim. I'm really not sure. They come in 3 sizes that I have seen so far. The little one we're gonna get to in a bit, this normal kind of medium-sized one, and I have seen a larger one as well. Give me 1 second. All right, I just wanted a little extra space to be working with there. Okay, so when you first open the bag, it has this top part that will come down, and it is magnetic. It's pretty strong, and that allows it to sit down on its own. In the bottom portion of the bag is a zipper pouch. It goes from one end clear to the other, and it's, I'd say, about maybe 3.5, 4 inches tall from the top to the bottom. In the back, you've got 3 of these elastic, stretchy loops that you can put tall items in, and then in the bottom you've got about 2.5 inches down there to kind of, you know, put whatever you want. So when I am using this for the watercolors, my 2 most important pieces are, of course, the palette and the watercolor book or the sketchbook, whichever one. I did update my original Koi watercolors to the Holbein palette. I can't remember how many this one is. The 36, which I have also decided to keep having, you know, like instead of having to re-swatch everything while I'm working and whatnot, although I do have a page of that in here, I've just decided I'm gonna go ahead and fill this out before we leave from Japan so that I have it, and it's gonna stay in there with it because it works fine. Now you could do this and then laminate it, and that would protect it even further, but I don't think that that's necessary, really. But so yeah, this is a 36 color palette. It fits great vertically, and if you know, you kind of have to center it off a little bit within the zipper area here, but you could also, if you don't want to keep your sketch pad in here, do it horizontally, and it obviously fits just fine as well. But because I like to keep the watercolor book, and this is, let's see, yeah, this is also 3.5 by 5.5, and you can see, you know, some little pieces I've done, some drawings mostly, because I'm hoping to, this is a new book, and I'm hoping to fill this out as we kind of travel around getting to our next base. Which I'll do a whole video on that actual update later. But anyway, 3.5 by 5.5 watercolor pad, and it goes in the back. Well, in the middle, whatever you want to call that. And this is just to show you how absolutely perfect these fit in here. And you know, once you kind of cover the top, it's got a little bit more space. You know, there's an extra amount that, because you can't store anything down here without it flipping over. So you do have a little extra space to work with if you wanted to add a slightly taller book or a slightly taller palette. And this palette happens to be about 6 1/4 by, I'd say, 4 1/4. So you do have quite a bit of space, even though it's open like this. All right, now to remove those so we can focus on the back side, and then I'll add that in later. But those are the two most important pieces, so you want to make sure that's what's fitting best. All right, so obviously with a watercolor or a plein air kit or a sketchbook kit, you need your brushes and your pens and your pencils. So I like to use micron pens. I also have these Copics. They work essentially the same way. They're waterproof, and I just kind of grab the ones that I want when I want them. I typically stick to a 01 or a 005 because I like how teeny tiny it is, and that's what works for my artwork. And then obviously brushes. I also have a retractable eraser because your girl be erasing, and I really love these Papermate mechanic pencils. I just think they're so simple and easy, but you know, I run out of erasers consistently with them. So we're gonna load that up. I do have this watercolor pencil or brush that has the liquid down in it. The Holbein palette also comes with this really great, like, what would you call this? Just compact brush, you know, and it's actually pretty great for what it is, but I like the ones that have the water in them as well, so I've got one of those, and that's what I will first stick back here. But because it's pretty tall, I like to put it towards the center again so that it clears this zipper just fine. I also really love this Holbein masking fluid. I hope you can see that. My white balance is kind of crazy today because of the weather, but I really love this. It's got the tiniest little applicator tip. It's kind of dirty right now, but this is probably one of the better masking fluids I've seen or used. I used to have one that was a little pen, and it started out great, but honestly, I didn't like how it ended up. Over time, it just got way too gummy. Over time, it was just not as precise. This one, though, I've been using it for probably over a year now, and it's been great. This is actually the second bottle because I went through a phase for myself where I was just messing around, and I used a lot of it just to kind of, you know, get used to it. But I really recommend that. It is a little short, but it still sticks behind this, so that's great. Put the pencil and the eraser over here, and then the only things I really need extra that maybe some of you won't use are my Jelly Roll pens. I like to have at least a couple of the white ones, and then maybe we'll try these other ones over here, because I do like to carry a gold glitter one from time to time. Okay, so that's the back side of it. I do appreciate how neat this stays. Typically, it's even better when there's things here in front. So we'll go ahead and add in our palette and our watercolor book. And now for the pouch. There's lots of stuff that can go down in this pouch, so I'm gonna walk you through each one before we add them. This is mostly just stuff that I have come to realize that I like to have on hand, and I think I've added a couple things, but I'm not 100% sure. I do want to talk about this first. So for one of the things that I felt like I was really lacking, even though the watercolor palette typically has a tray to like do mixes and stuff, sometimes I need just a couple pieces of paper that I'm working on instead of my entire sketchbook, and it's really nice to have like a board. It's also nice to have a board for other things to sit on, you know, when you're out at the park or something's dirty, maybe you're sitting in sand on the beach, just something flat surfaced. So this is like a little, I think it's 6.5, it's like 5 by 6.5 little mat. You can get them all over the place. I think particularly this one I thrifted. That's, you know, I'm not usually quite this messy, but it is very thick, which I appreciate. And anyway, so with the card and this new palette, that is definitely something I have added, and it can sit behind it or in front of it very neatly. Because I'm not using up a ton of this middle space in here, and it's still gonna sit really flat. And yeah, I also like that with this clip, which I think is also an addition, you can, you know, secure your papers to it as you're working, but it's not the big kind that, you know, take up a lot of room, because it stays pretty flat other than this little bump here, which is actually great. And the whole reason it was even purchased, you know, so that you can hang or put pins on it as well. I believe I picked this up at Loft, but I've seen them other places before. Staples probably carries them or something like that. But it's nice and small, and it works really well for those things. So that's going to go in the pouch. This is our collapsible water can, or sorry, cup. I like how deep it is, so you can get quite a bit of water. I like to fill it up to like this maybe second ring from the top here, just to kind of, you know, keep it from spilling a bunch. I have seen some nicer ones that I haven't had the opportunity to get my hands on yet, but they're like fixed or fixable to this bottom part, and it makes them a lot more stable. But again, this is one of the reasons I have included this now, so you know, it's got a little bit more to stand on than just putting it inside of its lid. I never carry this with water, and I'll get to that here in a second, but I love that it's collapsible and that it travels flat. I do love that it has a lid so that when it's, you know, slightly damp, if I don't have a ton of stuff to dry it out with, it's pretty good at keeping, you know, just a couple little droplets of water out from all of my other stuff. So that's going to go in here first because it's one of the larger items, and I like to scoot it all the way to the end, and you still have all this space. We're going to put this back in here. Alright, so one of the most exciting things that I have come across in plein air kits is the idea of having a towel wristband as your kind of paper towel substitute. I still think that paper towels are pretty much the best way to work with watercolor. You can use them for so many things, but honestly, in a pinch and in travel and for reuse purposes, this is one of the best things I have come across. I will also link these and most of what you see here below so that you have the opportunity to also look for those. And it's small, you know, if you get a regular washcloth, it's going to be even larger than what this is. And usually I kind of put this on the top, like I kind of stack it or something as I'm closing the case up. Sometimes I just let it sit down in here when I'm not using it and it's sitting out on the table. It's not a perfect fit anywhere, honestly, and it takes up a lot of room inside of the zipper bag, but it does still go just fine in the bag once you've closed it up. So I'd say that this is the only thing that doesn't just like sit in here great. Now I could, you know, wedge it down in here. It works perfectly fine. It just doesn't, in my opinion, have a home to go to. But we're gonna leave that out for just a second. The other thing I like to have is washi tape. This is a great tool to have, not just for, you know, making borders on your pieces, but obviously tape is going to hold things together. So if you want to use your board and tape a piece down before you go, or tape a piece down to dry as you're working on it, however you want to do that, I think washi tape is great. It won't peel up your paper. I also love that this one has grid lines, so you can keep nice straight lines so that when you are doing borders, it looks good. This is just like a little watercolor tool that I use sometimes. It's a little sponge dabber. I think I picked up like a set of these at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something like that years ago. I just like to kind of push it down in here. The sponginess has depleted over the years. They're pretty old, so this doesn't really bother me for transport. And you know, it's just one way to save some space, and that's going to go in here second. I use a lot of pencils. I like to draw ahead of time, so I've also included some extra 0.5 lead. And two of the newer things I've added are some different kinds of erasers. Somebody in the comment section of the original one suggested that I try to, because I had not added, I don't think, the other eraser as well, but anyway, so you've got a kneaded eraser, and I honestly can't remember exactly what this one is, but they both work really well. I'll say it's nice having options, and they're both small, and I think you can get both of these in like a little pencil kit or just an eraser kit. I pretty much always use the white pearl erasers, and I don't have one in this kit because I have a bunch of other options plus the pencil. This thing is pretty nice. I like that I pretty much always have it, and it can be retracted and safe in there. And this will also help with like the pencil lines that are left if you've made dents. Like, you can really get in there and pick some stuff up. So I like to put those in there next. Alright, so I think the last one, I did talk about how I usually have a spray bottle or a water bottle with me, or something with me that obviously has the water, but I didn't include it in the video or in the kit because my spray bottle did not fit within the kit. This was the original one. It's too big. It's very large. And it was great for dragging around with me in another bag, but I wanted something that would fit in the kit. It took me a long time to find this. I don't know why. Here in Japan, they've got lots of stuff like this in places like Muji and Daiso, but I was looking for very specifically this size or smaller, and they do have much smaller ones for cosmetics, but it was almost too small. So this one is right around 4 inches altogether. It's about an inch on the base, and it fits absolutely perfectly in this part down here. Like, it's not even bulgy or anything like that because of this area that it's got, and it's perfect. And then I just fill in the gaps around with the other stuff. I also like to have a wax crayon. It's kind of like having the masking fluid as well, just another way to play with stuff. And I put that in there as well. And then I like to set this kind of on top. I'll zip this guy up. And there you have it. And it does sit well on its own on the one side, not the one that folds down, but the other. Hang on, my camera's freaking out. And that's it. That is the brand new plein air kit. I have been using this exact setup for about a year and a half, maybe. At the very least, pretty much immediately after I made that last video, I made some changes. Alright, so the next ones I'm not going to go through quite so pickily, but I do want to share how I'm using some of these other ones. Now, I do believe I've done a video of this bag in particular as my planner bag, because I used to do the larger, I call it moleskin, maybe it's moleskine, I'm not sure. Y'all tell me down below. I used to use the larger planner that looks like this, and it fits great. Oops. It fits great in here, but I'll get to this in a minute because I do have an option of that for you all to kind of visualize in the new bag. But particularly this one is very hard to find. I have not seen another one in any color like this one since I bought it. It has a handle, which you would think I would want to use for the watercolor bag, but truly I never even think about it when I'm using it. And then it also has a headphones or charger port in this bottom part here. I don't know what to tell you. I can't find it. I can't find it even online, so it must have just been discontinued or something. But this one I have decided I'm going to utilize for traveling with my cameras because I have small camera equipment. This is the DJI Osmo. It comes with a bunch of accessories and things when you buy it in the bundle that I did, and I typically use this for like B-roll, but I think it's what I'm going to be shooting most of my stuff on while we're waiting for our household goods to come in. But it just fits beautifully in here. Look at that. Beautifully. I like that it comes in, you know, its own little kind of hard case to protect it extra also, but it's just meant to be, right? Okay. And then the camera that I'm filming on, which is my Sony, it has just the kit lens on it, and as it stands, it can fit in here in the center with the kit lens on. It is a little tight, and I would want to cushion the outside of it more if I used it that way. But what I'm gonna do is take the kit lens off and set it to the side, and then get a body kit cover so that it can stack here in the center. And I'll try and add a picture of it later, like, or over the screen so that you can see, but it fits in here perfect in that way. And then next to it, I have the wand attachment tripod situation that goes with the Sony, and that fits in here. It looks like it's too tall, but again, there's this area here that will flip up over it and it fits great. We're also going to include a charging cable in the back here. Which fits well. And then this is I took this off for today, so hopefully my sound is alright, but I wanted to show you that this would also fit in here along with everything else. And that would sit on top of the camera when I put it in here. And then for the smaller stuff, there's lots and lots of room like we talked about before. These are some connections for the DJI. We've got the microphone clip for the DJI, an extra battery, a magnetic base for the DJI, which fits great down in here, the DJI's little extra tripod, which is very difficult to do one-handed, sorry. Alright, we got a tripod mount or a foot boot, whatever you want to call that. And even though it's not going to fit in here just perfectly, the way I've got it for the video, it will fit in there otherwise. And this is the DJI's little microphone. It goes in here pretty well too. And then I like to include some silica gel beads just to be on the safe side because electronics. And then you'll just have to imagine the other camera is here. And this, I'm actively using this, so if something happens, sorry. But that comes up over. Zips up nicely. You can just set it vertically in your carry-on bag, and it has a little handle. It's just, the bags are amazing. I don't know what else to say about it. Obviously, I've bought several. Alright, so moving on to the little guy here, I'm probably most excited about this new update. There's just something about mini stuff. You guys know that. If you're here, you know. If you know, you know. Okay, so to start with this one, I'm not going to unpack the entire thing, but I will kind of walk you through my planner setup, I guess. I love mild liners. They're probably my new favorite planner thing that I have. I've got pretty much every color at this point, but this is like a nice selection of what I would put to, you know, organize things inside of the planner. I also have a pencil with multiple pen colors: black, blue, green, and red. This is a 5-in-1 or a 4-in-1. I think it's a Jetstream, is it? Yeah, a 5-in-1 Jetstream, 4-in-1 Jetstream with a 0.5 pencil. And then this is a Friction 4-color Pilot pen. I really love this because I like to work in pen but also have erasers. And that's how I do most of my planner stuff at this time. I have a clear piece of plastic. I like to put these in between my pages while I'm working on the planner so that I'm not bearing down too hard. Sometimes I get a little aggressive. And I put that in the back here. I also have one of these. I have several of these, but this is my favorite. I like that there's a hard straight edge, a wavy edge, and then obviously I can use all of these for my actual planning purposes. It's got just about everything that you need. That one I like to put vertical here. And then my planners, the way I'm doing this now is I have a notebook. This is my lists book. I like to make lists. And it is a 3.5 by 5.5 moleskin regular lined paper. And then my 2026 planner. I don't have a ton of stuff in here yet because we are still waiting on some actual orders to get out of Okinawa, and it hasn't happened yet, so I can't really plan anything yet. And then this is a sketchbook. This is what I'll be doing all of my next collections and things on because I like the idea of filling up an entire sketchbook for one collection, and it fits great in here. I like to put it in the center. I do have a journal planner like binder thing. I'm going to try and put these in to see if it would still fit in here after, but for now this is pretty snug. I wouldn't want to really shove a whole lot more into this area without, you know, getting that crazy bulge effect. But down here in the zipper portion, I have a little clip. This helps keep your pages, like your book, how do you do, like your book open, you know, so that you can write on it flat. Hope you loved that example there. I have this little moon, I think it's called an ollie clip. It says it right here, but it's super tiny. This is just a little magnetic clip to put your pages and things together when you don't want to have to flip through a bunch of them. Some extra Friction ink packs, a Friction eraser that is not the one in the pen. Sometimes there's larger areas or, you know, this starts to get a little gummed up. I have a couple of the tiniest washi tapes that I've ever seen. They're just cute to have in here. I can fit other washi tape in here too. This is just what I'm carrying for now. Sometimes I like to use them for like long stretches on the calendar. This is 0.5 for both pencils, or well, for the pencil that I have in here, and then this is refill for the pencil eraser. And I just confiscated another, like I had 2 packs of the lead and I put them all in one and then put the erasers in the other because they came in a little bag, and this was just a neater way to keep up with everything. And yeah, that's it down there. I have this cute little pen that says Relax Master. I'm not, but I'm aspiring to things, you know. So yeah, we'll put all this back in here. And then I'll show you the last thing that I've got for this bag. And that is this guy, which is another clip. But you can put batteries in it, and when you open this little area here and turn it on, it's very dim in actual lighting, but in a dark room it does really well. You know, if you want to just add something to your planner real quick, or if you want to work on your lists while, you know, not bothering anybody, I thought it would just be great in the airplane. And this is one of the ones I'll be specifically taking in my carry-on. Now it doesn't fit in here great anywhere on its own, kind of like the kind of like this guy for the watercolor pack. But when you close it up, because of this extra area up top here, it fits in just fine. It's not bulging. This one, because it's smaller, I think it has just a little less play in its shape. It still sits up just fine. I have no issues with it being vertical, but it does have sort of a lean to its back, and that's with or without the clips, so I think it works great. This again is the much smaller one in comparison. I'll show you what I mean. So stacked together, I wouldn't say it's half, but you know, you're missing at least a towel thing amount of space. But if you like the larger planners, I can show you an example for that in this one, so you don't have to go back to that other video that I've made. So this is the brand new one. I just wanted to show you how it comes. This is the Smasta wide. I don't remember what the little one is called, but this is the just basic one that I have 3 times. So it comes with like a little picture here that says it stands, and then inside there is some clear plastic that helps it keep its shelf shape or whatever. Now this is what I made my little planner piece of plastic out of, because I liked the idea of having something hard to write or bear down on. So you know, keep that in mind. You could use this. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and whatnot. All right, so for this bag, I have 2 different options that I'm going to work on, and I'll tell you which one I think it's going to end up being. We'll start out with the well, it's not really a planner. The thing I'm using this for is a journal. So for journaling, I wanted to go slightly larger because I have other things I want to be able to put in it, like my Canon Ivy printer, which is this little guy. And, you know, it's not much bigger than, or it's not much smaller than my watercolor palette. So it does bulge it just a smidge, but I'm not putting anything back here for this specific build because all of my pens and things would go down here or are already in my planner kit. So this here, and then to carry some extra papers and things for the printer, they go in here, and this is great for just, you know, any images that you have off of your phone. There's an app that you put everything together on, so you could do pictures that you take or things that you find online, and that can go in your journal. And then with all this stuff in here, you could also add in, you know, stickers and sticker sheets, and because that's a much longer amount of space that you have to work with. And then, you know, this can come out here. I've also got a cord for this that I would wind up and put in here, or maybe behind here. But this was just like a working idea that I had. What I think I'm actually going to end up using it for, though, because I've had this little bag here for a little while. It's just a makeup bag, nothing crazy. It's your typical couple of little side pockets thing, but it ends up looking like this at all times. I'm a little lazy, but also it's just, this is not perfect. It's a cute bag though. All right, now don't judge me for my millennial makeup, but hear me out. I really think this bag would make a great makeup bag. Lots of reasons. There's obviously organization everywhere, but everything can stand up. So like your brush, you know, it goes back here so it's not rolling around on the bottom collecting stuff. You've got tall things can go in here, even your short stuff. You've got space for your tube type things. Put another brush in here. You've got a small area down below for all of your pencils and your blushes and whatnot. And this is not everything that I use. I've got a couple of skincare things that could fit in here perfectly fine. And then, you know, it's all, because typically I would pack them vertically like this. It's all gonna be standing up. And then it's all so neat. You just, you know? So I think this is what I'm gonna use it for instead of this bag, because I think it's just got a little bit more, I think it's just a little bit easier to organize and better for, you know, I could even put a toothbrush down in here. It's got so many options. So I hope I haven't sped through this too fast. We've got a lot going on right now. I guess I can go ahead and give a small update, but we will be moving to Moody Air Force Base in Georgia. I don't have dates still. I'm not 100% sure when we will get our official orders, but I can tell you that either right before the end of the year or right after the first of the year, we should be starting to get settled in, and I can finally start working on the things that I really want to work on. All right, and then what I thought I would show you here real quick is this bag. It is going to be the personal piece that we bring onto the aircraft, and I just wanted to show you how I'm going to pack this. I really wanted something that wasn't a backpack that could wheel again, because our last trip here we had backpacks and honestly it was terrible. But about these bags, one of the reasons that I think it's going to go very well is that they stack in here so nicely. And everything is organized and neat. And even the little one will fit over here. And I'll have a couple other things. I think I've got like a, you know, like a little word seek situation, some cards. This little organizer here I think should fit in it just fine. It's got some side pockets to put my more easily accessible things. I do love that it's got like a built-in makeup kit thing for like smaller trips, but because I'm taking what I use like on a full regular basis, I wanted it to be organized in here much better. And then it closes up and it's got a thing on the outside for, you know, passports, your phone, and that kind of thing, and then it stacks up on top of a bag. And I just really like how these fit in here. You could also free up some space on the side over there and stack this one. I'd say you could easily fit between 2 and 4 of these if you want to do them sideways and put 2 more large ones here. But this is just like a London fog bag, nothing fancy. We picked them up at the exchange. But I hope you guys liked this video. I'm going to do an official update video next week, and after that we should be pretty much on the road to getting back to the States, and I'm really excited for what's next, so I'll see you then. Bye guys!